Afternoon everyone, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Sam. Today I'm going to talk you through my professional goals using Sir John Whitmore's GROW model. I'm going to begin by walking you through my e-portfolio. It's going to involve a little bit of scrolling, so I apologise in advance for that. And I'll use that to tell you a bit about myself, both personally and professionally. I'm then going to move on to tell you about my organisation and my role within my organisation. And I'm then going to move on to a short presentation which goes into more detail on the GROW model and my professional goals within the GROW model. So, onto the e-portfolio and about me. So, as I said, my name's Sam. I'm currently studying for a Chartered Management degree apprenticeship in Business Leadership and Management at the University of Portsmouth. Personally, I've chosen to study this course to become more aware of myself and my own behaviours, so that I can learn from those and hopefully improve them. I want to become, ultimately at the end of this, I want to become the best at what I do, and I'd like to become a role model across the industry and my own organisation. Personally, so a couple of my personal interests, I enjoy running. I'm sure most of you know that anyway. Spend quite a lot of time with my family, and I've got quite an active dog. I've got a chocolate Labrador, so I do an awful lot of walking with her. Two of my biggest personal goals that I've achieved recently, did the Brighton Marathon in April 2016 and the Bournemouth Marathon in October 2017. Both of them I did to raise money for the Stroke Association, which was following a family tragedy, so raised quite a lot of money for Stroke Association, so I was particularly happy with that. So on to who I am as a professional person. So we all did a couple of tests, a couple of psychometric tests. The first one being the Learning Styles Indicator, which I came out as an activator. So I'm just going to take through a couple of good points and a couple of bad points about being an activator and how it affects me in my job role. So first good thing is that I enjoy working with real issues, and because of that I like being involved and interacting with others. A couple of bad points, however, that have affected me is that I do tend to miss the big picture. I jump in too quickly before the information is known, and I'm not very good at being innovative, which caused me a few issues when I had to set up a new department. However, fortunately now I've got an innovator within my team, so we bounce off each other quite well. We also did the Type Dynamics Indicator, which came out on a harmoniser. I'm not particularly sure Paul would agree with the first couple of points, but I feel like I'm good at making people feel welcome and creating an atmosphere of harmony and cooperation. Unfortunately, when Paul walks in the door, there's normally a problem, so he doesn't get the harmonise bit. And I can manage day-to-day pressures relatively well, I think. A lot of the time in my organisation, it's, you know, we want something and we want it yesterday, so you've got to be quite good at being on top of things and being able to get them done quickly. However, I do need to stop, or I need to improve on accepting that not everything is always clear and structured. And I've got to learn to speculate and live with uncertainty for a little bit longer before I make a decision. Sometimes if you make a decision straight away and act on it, it's normally the wrong decision. And if you take a little bit more time to think about it, it quite often turns into a better decision, so I've just got to be a bit more aware of that. So, a bit about my organisation. So, I work for Portsmouth Water. We're a freshwater supply company supplying Portsmouth and the surrounding areas. And the company's mission statement is to supply drinking water of the highest quality, providing high levels of customer service and excellent value for money. Just to run you through a couple of key facts about the company. So we've got 700,000 domestic customers and around 17,000 commercial customers. My role involves dealing with those 17,000 commercial customers, which I'll go into in more detail in a moment. We've got a proud record of maintaining high standards of customer service whilst having the lowest water supply charges in England and Wales. And that's an average cost of 24p per household per day for the fresh water supply. So, my role within the company, so where I started at Portsmouth Water, I started in July 2011 just as a customer service advisor. After a couple of years that progressed to a secondment as a customer service training and administration team leader to cover maternity leave, and then after about 8 months I was made permanent in that position. For my sins, I then chose to take on the role of the Wholesale Service Desk Coordinator in March 2016. And what that involved initially was more of a project management style role. This was the introduction of non-household competition is why the role came about. So it's a brand new role and a brand new department across every single water company in England and Wales. And it is the biggest change that's happened in water since privatisation in 1989. So water is very old-fashioned, the water industry is very old-fashioned, and you're trying to implement something brand new into that industry. So I had to be aware of changes in what they call the market code, which is basically a guideline of how we need to act in this market. And I had to set up company processes and policies that we needed to follow so that we could adhere to this code. And I needed to deliver company-wide training to make sure that everybody in the company knew why the changes were happening and what changes they needed to follow. Since the opening of the market in April 2017, my responsibilities have moved on a little bit. Obviously, it's no longer a project management style role. The department is in, it's business as usual. So it's more of a monitoring type role now, more of a business as usual. So by that I mean ensuring that the department itself meets the company target of a 95% success rate. And by doing that, or in order to do that, obviously I need to liaise with multiple departments to find out where failures have happened, why they've happened, and how to stop them happening in the future. I've also got a bit of a non-market related part in my role, which is the company's social media accounts. So we've got a Twitter and an Instagram account. Instagram is very quiet compared to Twitter. So just on a daily basis, I need to be prepared for any messages or contact we receive via Twitter and need to respond to it as soon as possible. Also, we use our social media as an outward communication method, so if we have an incident of some description and a lot of people are without water, we can put the message on our social media and more people will see it quicker than they were if they were to ring in and wait for someone to answer the phone. So, I'm just going to do a presentation on the GROW model. So firstly, what is the GROW model? So, as I'm sure you're all aware, it was developed in the 1980s by Sir John Whitmore, and it's designed to be able to coach both yourself and your team to achieve the best their ability. So I'm going to talk you through the GROW model for myself now. So my overall long-term goal is that, as I said before, I want to be the best at what I do, and I want to be a role model across the industry as well as within my organisation. And ultimately, whilst doing all of that, I don't want to get too stressed out, and I want to remain quite happy in my personal life, so I don't want too much. And my short-term goals that form part of my PDP, I want to focus on my time management skills, expand my self-awareness of personal development areas, reflect more before undertaking a task, improve my skills and confidence with numbers, develop my referencing skills, and develop my video presentation skills. So just having a look at the reality about what's going to prevent me from doing those things. I've got limited spare time at work, a small team, and have to be prepared for the interruption of social media. So finding the time to raise my profile within the industry might be quite a challenge. I've also got quite a busy home life, so finding the time to research in more detail the areas of interest to me might be a challenge. Naturally, an activator, therefore reflection doesn't come particularly easy to me. And I often act at times before thinking, especially when the pressure is on to get a task done quickly. Lack confidence with numerical skills. To be quite frank, numbers scare me. Even looking at them, I don't like them. So I often find as well I can answer the proposed question, but I just spend ages worrying about how a number looks rather than just dealing with it. I find referencing really difficult to get the hang of. I've absolutely no idea why, I just can't get it in my head. So I need to obviously look into that and find out why I can't do that. And I lack confidence in front of the camera, as I'm sure everybody else struggles with this video presentation. It's not nice having to record yourself, so I need to work on that. So what options have I got to develop these skills? So I can plan my day more effectively, but also be conscious not to be too ambitious with my task list. So I quite often write a task list of 100 things that I want to get done, and often do less than 10 of them, so then I'll beat myself up about it. Set time aside to ensure I can further research the development areas of interest to me. I need to be more conscious of the fact that I'm naturally an activator and try to make it a habit to reflect before I take action. Use the tools available to improve my numerical skills and confidence, and understand that that's not going to improve overnight. Also use the tools available to become more confident with referencing and hopefully get it to stick in my head. Become more confident in front of the camera and continue to learn and network and take all opportunities across the industry to take part in events. So way forward, so I've looked at all these options practically, thought about the options that I've got and tried to think about how I'm actually going to put them into practice realistically. So at the end of each day I'm going to use Eisenhower's urgent important matrix so that I can come into work the next day and know what I need to get done. Also, if I'm not able to achieve that for some reason, rather than beat myself up, it would be more helpful if I did a time audit so that I can work out where it's gone wrong and why it's gone wrong and prevent that happening in the future. Plan my personal time realistically. So at first I thought 30 minutes of reading or research before going to bed might be quite a good time to fit it in. And then I just realised that I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go for a run, so that's probably not ideal. So more realistically, it would be listening to podcasts or audiobooks whilst running is probably quite a good idea. Just be really, really conscious to reflect more before acting, which is easier said than done. I want to be able to understand the implications I'm going to have before I do something, rather than just cracking on and doing it and then having to deal with the consequences and fixing it afterwards. I need to become more confident with numbers by changing my perception of numbers to start with and then refreshing my mathematical skills. And I can use apps available on the phone or some tools on lynda.com to work on that. Practice video presentations more. I've got a feeling we've probably got a few more of these to come, so practice will make perfect, and often if something becomes a habit, it just becomes second nature, so it shouldn't be quite so daunting the next time. And continue to attend industry events and working groups to continue to develop my knowledge and expertise in my area, and that will also give me the opportunity to network with other experts in my field. So there's just a quick reference list. So just to conclude everything I've talked about this afternoon, so bearing in mind my overall long-term goal is to be the best at what I do and be a role model within my organisation and my industry. And the short-term goals that I'm going to focus on now are to improve my time management skills, improve my self-awareness and reflection skills, improve my skills and confidence with numbers, improve my referencing skills and improve my video presentation skills. Thanks for listening.
Lovely. Thank you.